ॐ शुक्लाम्भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्जसम्भावितललाटकम् हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्रजं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா. லோகவீர்யம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யஹம். சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா. वागर्ताविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्तप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। श्रीपार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः। कोमलं पूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन्। हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरनभ्यर्थितानपि आर्तान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी ध्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयं। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशीविभूषितकरात् नवनीरधाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने. കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചന നിന്നോടായി. ഈ തീനു മഞ്ഞനെ കുമ്പിടേണ്ടാത്തോറോ രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കനായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so we'll do a review of 67 and 68. Let's see who I had. Sorry. Maybe Priya, you can do one, and Gayatri, you can do one.
Okay, Raj. पुरत्परानन्दरसात्मकेन त्वया समासादितकोपोगलीलाः समीममानन्त प्रबन्ध महान्तमापुर्मतमं भुजाक्ष्याः तलीयदेशौ मम्यमायं रमापतिर्विश्वमनोऽपिरामः इति स्म सर्वाः कलितापिमानाः निरीक्ष्य गोविन्दतिरोहितोष्पुः
The first word for niliyate sau.
निलीयते राधापितां तावत जातकर्वाम् अतिप्रियां कोपवत्वतुं मुरारे पवानुबाधाय कतो विदूरं तया सह स्वरैव विहारकारी तिरोहिते तद्वै जाततापाः समस्समेधाः कमलायतास्याः वने वने त्वां परिमार्ग्यन्त्यो विषातमापुप्यका
Last Bhagavannaparam.
भगवन्नपारम् हासूतः सम्पककर्णीकारा हा मल्लिके मालति पालवल्याः किंवीषितो नो हृदयैकशोरा इत्यादितास्त्वत् परवण विलेपुः
Second line choraha and just before the comma hridayeka choraha.
Oh, chora book. निरीक्षितोऽयं सखिपङ्कजाक्षः पुरो ममेत्याकुलमालबन्दी त्वां पावनासाक्षि वीक्ष्य कासित्तापं सखीनां त्विकुनी चकार त्वदात्मिकास्ता यमुना तडान्ते तनानुचक्रुः किल चेष्टितानि विचित्य भूयोऽपि तदैव मानात् त्वया विमुक्तां ततृष्य च रातां तदस् समन्ता विपिने समन्तात् तमोवतारावति मार्ग्यन्त्याः पुनर्विमिश्रां यमुना तडान्ते पुरुषं विलेपुश्च गुणंस्ते तदा व्यथा सङ्कुलमानसानां प्रजाङ्कनानां करुणैकसिन्धोः जगत्त्रयी मोहतात्मा तवं पुरातुराक्षिरापि मध्यसभासि.
This for second line just towards the end. So after the comma, tvam pradurasirai mandahasi.
त्वं प्रासुरासीरै मन्दहासि सन्तिक्त्य सन्दर्श्य मात्मकान्तं त्वां वीक्ष्य तत्त्वाया तन्वस्यः सः तदानीं किं च चक्रुः प्रमादादिपारात् सत्वं कदात् पालय मारुतेश.
Brahmane Namaha. Yeah, Gayatri.
Dashakam 68 Gopinam Bhagavad Samagamadi Varnanam. तव विलोकनाद कृष्णा गोपिका जनाः प्रमद संकुला कृष्णा प्रमद संकुला पंकजेक्ष
Krishna.
प्रमद संकुला कृष्ण पंकजेक्षणाः अमृतधारया कृष्ण संप्लुता इव स्मित स्मितततां दधु कृष्णा त्वत्पुरोगताः तदनु काचन कृष्णा त्वत्कराम्बुजं सपदि गृह्णति कृष्णा निर्विशङ्कितं धनपयोधरे कृष्णा सन्निधाय सा पुलकसंवृता कृष्णा तस्तुषी चिरं
Gayatri,
तव
second line, first word, gha sound, ghana payodhare.
ओ घन न ध सुल्टेन सॉरी
Yeah.
घनपयोदरे सन्निधाय सा पुलक संवृता कृष्णा तस्तुषी चिरं तव विभो परा कृष्णा कोमलम्बुजं निज गलान्तरे कृष्णा पर्यवेष्ट्यत गलसमुद्गतं कृष्णा प्राणमारुतं प्रतिनिरुन्धतीव कृष्णा अतिहर्षुला अपगतत्रपा कृष्णा कापि कामिनी तव मुखाम्बुजात् कृष्णा पूर्गचर्वितम् प्रतिगृह्यत कृष्णा वक्त्रपङ्कजे அது வக்திரதானே அது त्वदक्त्र படிக்கணுமா
No, tad Krishna Bhaktra Pankaje.
ओके वक्त्रपङ्कजे निददति गता कृष्णा पूर्णकामताम्
Second line, first word, prati grihaya. Half ya and full ya. Grihaya tad.
गृह्यत
Yeah.
गृह्यत प्रतिगृह्यत
Grihaya.
गृह्यत
Yeah. Grihaya.
प्रतिगृह्य
Yeah, correct.
प्रतिगृह्य कृष्णा प्रतिगृह्यत
No, I think the
कृष्णा
mistake. No. I think you're making the ha as a ich. It's a
ओके
full ha. You're saying grihyatad. No? Grihayatad.
गृह्यत
Yeah.
कृष्णा ओके
Grihayatad. Krishna. Yeah. Bhakta.
प्रतिगृह्यत ओके प्रतिगृह्यत कृष्णा वक्त्रपङ्कजे निददति गता पूर्णकामताम् विकरुणो वने कृष्णा संविहाय माम् अपगतोऽसि कां कृष्णा त्वामिह स्पृशेत् इति सरोषया कृष्णा तावदेकया सजललोचनं कृष्णा वीक्षितो भवान् इति मुदा कुलैः कृष्णा वल्लि वल्लवीजनैः सममुपागतो कृष्णा यामुने तटे मृदुकुचाम्बरै कृष्णा मृदुकुचाम्बरै कृष्णा कल्पितासने कृष्णबासुरे कृष्णा पर्यशोभता हा
The first is Gayatri. Muda kulais. I heard it. It is a H sound. Muda kulai Krishna.
मृदा कुलैस् ओके
No, no, not is. It's a
ओ
ich.
ओके सॉरी
Muda kulai.
या ओके इति मृदा कुलै वल्लिवीजनैः
Yeah, and it's mu sound, not mr. Mu. Muda kulai.
ओके इति मुदा कुलै
Yeah.
कुलै वल्लिवीजनैः ओके कतिविधा कृपा कृष्णा केपि सर्वतो द्रुतदयोदया केचिदाश्रिते कचिदि कचिदीदृशा कृष्णा कतिचिदि दृशा कृष्णा मादृशेष्वपीति
Iti.
पीति पीति अभिहितो भवान् कृष्णा वल्लवीजनैः अयि कुमारिका कृष्णा नैव शङ्क्यताम् कठिनता मयि प्रेम कातरे मयि तु चेतसो कृष्णा वोनुवृत्तये कृतुमिदं मया कृष्णा इत्युचीवान् भवान्.
The last two stanzas and the first line, the second half, you forgot that Krishna word. So
Oh,
Katinata Mayi Krishna Prema Katare.
oh.
Okay.
कठिनता मयि कृष्णा प्रेम कातरे मयि तु चेतसो कृष्णा वोनुवृत्तये कृतमिदं मया कृष्णा इत्युचीवान् भवान्. अयि निशम्यतां कृष्णा जीववल्लभाः प्रियतमो जनो जनोर्ल्यांग
Jano, just no,
जनोदा. Okay,
Jano Krishna.
okay. जनो कृष्णान्नेदृशो मम मम तद्दिह रम्यतां कृष्णा रम्ययामिनीषु अनुपरोधि अनुपरोधिमिति अनुपरोधमिति आलपो विभो.
Krishna Alapo Vibho.
Oh, Krishna Alapo Vibho, sorry, I missed it. इति गिरादिकं कृष्णामादमेदुरैः व्रजवधूजनैः सामकामरन् कलितकौतुको कृष्णारासखेलने गुरुपुरीपते कृष्णा पाहि मां गदात्. श्रीकृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे नमः.
First line, just before the comma. Moda Meduraihi.
मोदमेदुरैः. Okay.
And again, Rajavadu Janai Krishna
Krishna.
Sakamaram. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No, it's okay. We'll do start with 69. I never fall sick, but today I'm sick. I'm stuffed nose, and unfortunately, it's 69, which is the one tune which is got a singing style, and I'm very bad at singing as well. So it's going to be hard for you all to follow me today, but I'll try my best. So Vidya Raman, you can be a student, and Sita Varanasi, you can be student. Hopefully, you all can say it properly and then not mess up the tune for me. But all right.
I also have like a bad throat, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll
Right, yeah. At least the tune you'll get it properly better than me. So,
yeah.
all right. So we kind of started seeing that Rasa Panchadasi, right? The 5 dashakams leading up to the Rasa Krida. It first started with the Gopikas coming, and then Krishna then pushing back on it to really test if they're interested. And then there was the disappearance of Krishna because the pride of the Gopikas had gone up. So Krishna then disappeared from amongst their midst. And finally, when they realized that, and then they truly earned for him, then he came back at the end of Dashakam 67. And in Dashakam 68, we saw how each of the Gopikas interacted with him in a different way, because each of us will have a different way of interacting with people, right? So each of them had a different way of representing their affection and love towards Krishna, which is what we saw in 68. So 69 is the Rasa Krida. So here, I won't say meaning for every single stanza because it's really how they all come about, right? And then dance, really, what it is. So, but first stanza of this really is a little bit of a, meditation, right? So first, but it is describing how Krishna is looking before the dance actually begins. So it's really a visualization of how Krishna is, and then our opportunity to meditate on that form. This Rasa Krida is a dance, or the dance here is really a meditation thing, because you really have to think about it in your mind, right? Of how Krishna is dancing there. So here in the first stanza, he describes about, pinchika. So he's talking about Krishna. You are getting ready to dance, in that your beautiful hair of yours is adorned with this pinchika, which is a peacock feather. So, peacock feather in your hair, you are already naturally dark in color. Now, this peacock feather, which has got the blue and green, all of that, is further accenting your look there. And then you have your, the Makara Kundalam. So your fish-shaped earrings, which are actually dangling. So if you see the description of what was there in Dashakam 2, when we saw the form of the Lord in Dashakam 2, and what he's going to describe in Dashakam 100 when he sees Bhagavan finally, and this is going to be pretty consistent. So he says you have fish-shaped earrings, which are actually swaying, which are on your 2 ears, which as you move, the kundalam is actually swaying there. Around your neck, you have couple of jewels, but you also have some garlands, right? The forest flower, Madamali, which is around your neck, so which is also moving as you start dancing eventually. And then you have Pita Chela, so you're wearing a yellow silk garment at the bottom, which is also held together by a belt, which is also yellow in color, which is always consistent as well. And then you are covered with, sandalwood paste and other things, which is that generates fragrance. So your body is covered with sandalwood paste for the fragrance as well. And then you also have the anklets, right? So when you're dancing, you need to have anklets, right? So you also have anklets there, which are studded, and all of this is reflecting your form. So with this form, oh Krishna, you are ready to actually get ready to get dance, and then we are meditating on that form of yours before you start the dance. So this might look like 4-liners long, but it is actually very easy. People generally find it easy, although it is like 4-liner stanzas. So we'll do the entire 4-line together. Kesha, Pasha, Dhrita, Pinchika, Vitati, Sanchalan, Makara, Kundalam, comma, Hara, Jala, Vana, Malika. So Vana is forest, Vana Malika is forest flower. So the Vana Mali that he always wears is just made out of forest flowers, no fancy flowers or anything. So Hara, Jala, Vana, Malika, Lalita, Mangaraga, Ghana, Saurabham, Pita, Chela, Dhrita, Kanchi Kanchitam, just breaking at that ma there, Kanchi Kanchitam, Udanchadam Shumani, so that's one word. That mu becomes a u there. Udanchadam Shu Mani Nupuram, comma, Rasa Keli Paribhushitam Tavahi Rupai Misha Kalayamahe. So there are a couple of different tunes with which people sing this. I myself learned it in 2 different tunes, but I'll just teach one. We'll just stick to that. Okay, in case sometimes people know a different tune and they find it difficult, but try your best to stick to this. केशपाशधृत पिञ्चिका वितति सञ्चलन् मकरकुण्डलम् हारजालवनमालिका ललितमङ्गराघघनसौरभम् पीतचेलधृतकाञ्चिकाञ्चितमुदञ्चदं शुमनिनूपुरम् रासकेलिपरिभूषितं तव हि रूपमीश कलयामहे.
केशपाशधृतपिञ्चिका विदति सञ्चलन्मकरकुण्डलम् हारजालवनमालिका ललितमङ्गराकगणसौरभम् पीतसेलधृतकाञ्चिकाञ्चितम् उदञ्चथं सुमणिनूपुरं रागकेलिपरिभूषितं तव हि रूपमीश कलयामहे. நான் வேற ஏதோ ஒரு இதுல
Different, that's okay. I think in few stanzas you'll get it. 4th line, first word, Rasa Keli.
ராசகேலி केशपाशधृतपिञ्चिका विदति सञ्चलन्मकरकुण्डलम् हारजालवनमालिका ललितमङ्गराकगणसौरभम् पीतसेलधृतकाञ्चिकाञ्चितमुद चथं सुमणिनूपुरम् रासखेलिपरिभूषितं तव हि रूपमीश कलयामहे.
I think on the line or end somehow your tune is you're doing it different.
I'm adding something, but
that's okay.
sorry
Don't
about
worry.
that.
I think this every time this happens, because not that I'm a good singer either. So people all do different, but eventually when we do a Parayanam, I know people who know the exact tune, who will take it in the right tune. So, but you will get it eventually once we do a few stanzas. Yeah, go ahead, Sita.
Sorry.
केशपाशधृतपिञ्चिका वितति सञ्चलन्मकरकुण्डलम् हारजालवनमालिकालितमङ्करागघनसौरभम् पीतचेलधृतकाञ्चिकाञ्चितम् उदञ्चदंशुमणिनूपुरम् रासकेलिपरिभूषितं तव हि रूपमीश कलयामहे. I think I came up with my own tune. I'm sorry.
Keep going.
केशपाशधृतपिञ्चिका वितति सञ्चलन्मकरकुण्डलम् हारजालवनमालिकालितमङ्गरागघनसौरभम् पीतचेलधृतकाञ्चिकाञ्चितम् उदञ्चदंशुमणिनूपुरम् रासकेलिपरिभूषितं तव हि रूपमीश कलयामहे.
Stanza 2. So in the previous stanzas, well, Krishna was well dressed, or however he was dressed with all the Vanamali and with the Pitambaram. So even the Gopikas, where all the Gopikas who had assembled there of all ages, they also were dressed. Like we said, they all came in whatever form they were, so with that, they also were getting ready. So what they do is first they actually create a circle, around Krishna. Then, it talks about how, because each one relates to Krishna differently, Krishna also has to reciprocate with each of those gopikas in a different manner. So you cannot have one person who can reciprocate in different manner, right? So in that, Krishna then ends up manifesting in multiple forms. Now, whether Krishna physically manifested in multiple forms, or whether the gopikas felt that Krishna was always right, each gopika felt that he was right next to him, connecting to him in a different way. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, each gopika felt she had a Krishna standing right next to her, right? Who was connecting with her in the way that she was connecting with Krishna, right? So from her perspective, Krishna was exclusively with that particular gopika in that form, right? So this says in Bhagavatam, describes about Krishna, your yoga maya, your material energy power made everybody felt that they were uniquely connecting with you, although each one was connecting with you differently. So with that, he was reciprocating love individually to each of them in the way they were. So each gopika felt they had a Krishna, and with that, the Krishna, they formed a circle around, and then then Krishna also joined them in that circle, and then they were getting ready to dance from there. Tavadeva krita mandane kalita kanchulika kucha mandale, ganda lola mani kundale yuvati mandaleta parimandale antara sakala sundari, long e, yugalam, breaking at that ma, yugalam indira ramana sancharan, manjulam tadanu rasakelimai kanchanabha samupadadhaha. तावदेव कृतमण्डने कलितकञ्चुलीककुचमण्डले गण्डलोलमणिकुण्डले युवतिमण्डले तपरिमण्डले अन्तरा सकलसुन्दरी युगलमिन्दिरारमणसञ्चरन् मञ्जुलां तदनुरासकेलिमयि कञ्चनाभसमुपादधाः.
तावदेव धृतमण्डने कलितकञ्चुलीककुचमण्डले कण्डलोलमणिकुण्डले युवतिमण्डले तपरिमण्डले अन्तरा सकलसुन्दरीयुगलमिन्दिरारमणसञ्चरन् मञ्जुलां रासकेलिमयि कञ्चनाभसमुपाददाः. तावदेव धृतमण्डने कलितकञ्जुलीककुचमण्डले कण्डलोलमणिकुण्डले युवतिमण्डले तपरिमण्डले अन्तरा सकलसुन्दरीयुगलमिन्दिरारमणसञ्चरन् मञ्जुलां तदनुरासकेलिमयि केलिमयि कञ्चनाभसमुपादताः
तावदेव कृतमण्डने कलितकञ्चुलीककुशमण्डले गण्डलोलमणिकुण्डले युवतिमण्डलेऽथ परिमण्डले अन्तरा सकलसुन्दरी युगलमिन्दिरारमणसञ्चरन् मञ्जुलां तदनुरासकेलिमयि कञ्जनाभसमुपाददाः तावदेव कृतमण्डने कलितकञ्चुलीककुशमण्डले गण्डलोलमणिकुण्डले युवतिमण्डलेऽथ परिमण्डले अन्तरा सकलसुन्दरी युगलमिन्दिरारमणसञ्चरन् मञ्जुलां तदनुरासकेलिमयि कञ्जनाभसमुपाददाः.
Answer 3. So stanza 3 is describing here. So two things. One is, like we said, Krishna had sandalwood paste applied on him. The gopikas were all wearing garlands. Krishna was wearing garlands. So all of that creates a very, what do you call, nice scent or a smell that is actually bad, because that is also important, right? To create the atmosphere, you need to have nice fragrance, which was there. So also it was that evening time. So there's a nice fragrance of all the flowers, which was all there. So then that was nice for the good fragrance for the nose. Then for the eyes itself, Krishna, with your decorations that you had with gopikas, it was a full moon night, autumn full moon night. So because of that, the moon was shining fully as well. So it was a Sharad Purnima night. So all of that also illuminated the forest. So it was the perfect setting that was there. So even so, it says here in the next stanza that that Lord Narada, along with all the other demigods, they all come up and they all land on top of Vrindavan, right, in their respective place, things to say, because they all wanted to witness this. So with the sky was filled with all these demigods and Narada, all of whom came in amazement to see this Rasa Krida dance. Vasudeva tava bhasamanamiha rasa keli rasa saurabham, duratopi khalu Naradagaditam. So breaking at that ma. Naradagaditam Akalayya. Next word starts with a. Akalayya Kutukakula. Vesha Bhushanam Vilasa Peshala Vilasini long e. Shata Samavrita, Nakato Yuga Padagata Biyati Vegatota Sura Mandali. वासुदेव तव भासमानमिह रासके निरससौरभम् दूरतोऽपि खलु नारदागतितमाकलय्य कुतुकाकुला वेशभूषणविलासपेशलविलासिनी शतसमावृता नाकतो युगपदागता वियति वेगतोत सुरमण्डली.
वासुदेवदवपासमा नमिह रासकेलिरससौरभं दूरतोऽपि खलु नारदागदितमाकल आकलय्य कुतुकाकुल वेशभूषणविलासपे सलविलासिनी सतसंवृता नाकतो युगपदागता वियति वेगतोत सुरमण्डली.
The third line, last word, Vidya, or second. Vilasini Shata Samavrita.
Vilasini Sata Samavrita. No, okay. वासुदेवतवपासमानमिह रासकेलिरससौरभं दूरतोऽपि खलु नारदागतितम् आकलय्य कुतुकाकुला वेशभूषणविलासपेशलविलासिनी सतसंवृता नाकदो युगपदागता वियति वेगतोत सुरमण्डली.
Again, on the word, the third line.
மறுபடியும் தப்பா சொல்லிட்டேனா?
And the third, and the last, and the word mattum. Shata Samavrita.
நான் சா அப்படின்னு சொன்னேன். Sorry.
And then the Samavrita, and something different you said. It's Samavrita on the word.
Samavrita. Yeah.
Yeah.
ராஜேஷ், இந்த டியூனுக்கு ஐ திங்க் அந்த செகண்ட் லைனையும் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லைன் மாதிரியே பாடினா ஈஸியா இருக்கும். அது ஐ திங்க் அது மிக்ஸ் சேஞ்ச் பண்ண ட்ரை பண்ணதுனால தான் இல்ல ஒன்றும் ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லை. பட் ஒன்னையும் நான் ட்ரை பண்றேன். வாசுதேவ தவ பாசமானமிஹ ராச கேலி ரச சௌரபம் தூரதோபி கலு நாரதா கதிதமால மாகலைய குதுகாகுலா. லைக் த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செகண்ட்ஸ் ரெண்டுமே ஒரே மாதிரி தான். அது பாக்குறதுனால கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டமா இருக்க மாதிரி இருக்கு. I think
okay. Thanks for clarifying that. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. I just know how it is.
நான் லாஸ்ட் டைம் நம்ம இதுல கேட்டதுனால, பாராயணத்துல கேட்டதுனால தான் எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சது.
You know what? Actually, ராஜேஷ் வந்து இன்னைக்கு அத ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணி அப்லோட் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் I think we'll all get it right. So என்னதுனாக்க ராஜேஷ் is saying something and I'm repeating it in a certain way and that's kind of propagating.
No, but that's
sorry
totally
about that.
fine.
ராஜேஷ் நீங்க wrong ஆள பிக் பண்ணிட்டீங்க இன்னைக்கு.
இல்ல. Don't even worry. You know, you sing it the way you feel like singing it. That's okay.
இல்ல ஜஸ்ட் ஈஸியா இருக்குங்கிறதுக்காக. அதர்வைஸ் வில் பி இன் டவுட். அது நம்ம செகண்ட் பாடும்போது ஒரு டவுட் வந்துடுற மாதிரி இருக்கும் நமக்கு.
I think you're right, Hema. I think that maybe the first two lines are the same tune. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, don't worry. You all are doing good. So.
I'll go then. वासुदेव तव भासमानमिह रासकेलिरससौरभं दूरतोऽपि खलु नारगादितं माकलय्य कुतुकाकुला वेशभूषणविलासपेशलविलासिनी शतसमावृता नाकतो युगपदागता वियतिवेगतोत सुरमण्डली.
That second line, Narada Gaditam.
Oh yeah, I didn't break. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah. वासुदेव तव भासमानमिह रासकेलिरससौरभं दूरतोऽपि खलु नारगादितं माकलय्य कुतुकाकुला वेशभूषणविलासपेशलविलासिनी शतसमावृता नाकतो युगपदागता वियतिवेगतोत सुरमण्डली.
Again, that word something is off. Like it's just that one word, Narada Gatitam.
Let me slow down then. Duratopi kalu naragadati.
You're switching da and ga. Yeah,
yes.
That's right.
Dyslexic. Sorry. Yeah, that's what I did.
Narada Gaditam.
Narada Gaditam.
Yeah, got it. Yes.
ராஜேஷ்ஜி, அது அங்க பிரேக் பண்ணாதக்கு நம்ம நாரதா கதித மாக்கல்லையே சொல்ல முடியுமா?
இல்ல, அது வந்து ஆக்கல்லை அந்த வேர்டு. சோ அதனால we cannot say மாக்கல்லைய. சோ அதனால அங்க I broke at that im specifically.
Okay.
நாரதா கதிதம் ஆக்கல்லைய.
Okay.
Fourth. So in the third stanza, it was all about the fragrance that was there everywhere, and it was also about the looks that was there. Everybody was dressed, and then the fragrance, it was there, the full moon light and everything. So the fourth stanza is a little bit talking about the music, because the music also sets the scene, right? So generally, the melody that is actually generated, that also impacts the emotions. And of course, here the primary music instrument is the Venunadam. It is a flute. So the flute is actually driving the overall emotional flow of the entire dance. So overall music the flute is the main anchor there. Now, in addition to the flute, it says the dancers who are dancing, they're also tapping their feet as they are dancing. So as they are tapping their feet, that is providing the drum beat for the necessary flute. Then they're clapping their hands. So that clapping of the hands generates music. Along with it, the kankanam, the bangles which they are actually wearing, that also rubs or that also moves, and that creates a sound. So the ornaments which everybody is wearing, the bangles, also is adding to the music. Then with that, so you have the the atmosphere in terms of the lighting and the full moon. You have the dressing, everybody's dressed up. You have this fragrance which is there. You also have the appropriate music. And in addition to all of this, Krishna is also just touching every gopika's on the shoulder. So that is also creating, setting up the scene. And then as they are dancing, the dresses also flutter. So it's just describing beautifully how the dance is taking place, right? So as the dresses also flutter, so all of this is creating that scene for this. He says here at the very end, maybe meditate on that form of the Rasa Krida dance, right? That is happening there with the right scenes there. Venu Nada Krita Tana Dana. First is a ta, next is a da. Tana Dana Kala Gana Raga Gati Yojana, and then put a plus. Lobhaniya Mridu Pada Pata. So first again da and then a ta. Pada Pata Krita Tala Melana Manoharam. Those two lines are together. Pani Sankwanita Kankanam Cha Muhuram Salambita Karambujam, comma, Shroni Bimba Chaladambaram Bhajata Rasakeli Rasa Dambaram. Venunada Krita Tana Dana Kalagana Raga Gati Yojana Lobhaniya Mridupada Pata Krita Tala Melana Manoharam Pani Sankwanita Kankanam Chamuhuram Salambita Karambujam Shroni Bimba Chaladambaram Bhajata Rasa Keli Rasadambaram.
ராஜேஷ், ஒரே ஒரு கொஸ்டின்.
ஆ.
இந்த இது இருக்கு இல்லையா, இந்த பாணி சங்கடித் முஹூரம் சலம்பித்த சொன்னேன் இல்லையா? இஸ் இட் முஹூரம் சலம்பித்த or முஹூர சலம்பித்த?
You see, it's Assam is little complicated. So it's muhuhu. Okay. Asa amsalambita. And the word. So okay, so another we cannot break it. And the muhuhu or visarga irra. And then the a amsalambita. So ir and a becomes a ram. So muhuram salambita.
Muhuram. Okay, thank you.
Venunada Krita Tana Dhana Kala Gana Raga Gati Yojana Lobani Mrudu Pada Pada Krita Tala Mena Manoharam Pani Sankwanita Kanjana Kankanam Chamuhuram Salambita Karambujam Shroni Bimba Salatambaram Bhajana Raga Keli Rasa Dambaram.
Last line. Bhajata Rasa Keli. Yeah.
Bhajata Rasa Keli Rasa Dambaram. Venunada Krida Tana Dhana Kalagana Raga Gati Yojana Lobhaniya Mridu Pada Pada Krita Talame Lana Manoharam Pani Sankwanita Kankanancha Muhuram Salambita Karambujam Shroni Bimba Salatambaram Bhajata Rasa Keli Rasa Dambaram.
वेणुनादकृततानदानकलगानरागगतियोजना लोभनीयमृदुपादपातकृततालमेलनमनोहरम् पाणिसङ्क्वणितकङ्कणं च मुहुरं सलम्बितकराम्बुजं वेणुनादकृततानदानकलगानरागगतियोजना लोभनीय मृदुपादपातकृततालमेनन मनोहरम् पाणिसङ्क्वणितकङ्कणं च मुहुरं सलम्बितकराम्बुजम् श्रोणिबिम्बचलदम्बरं भजत रासकेलिरसडम्बरम्.
That's a 5, sorry. So next, in addition to all the dance and the music that was getting generated, the Gopikas were also singing. So it says, so to add to all of this, there's even the singing, they felt like, so here the first word there, some of you may have spardhaya, some of you may have shraddhaya. It's slightly different context there. So we're going to change it to shraddhaya anyway. So the spardhaya is more like they're competing with each other. Shraddhaya is like with shraddha, with, dedication. So the Gopikas are also singing and they're trying to outwit or outmatch each other in terms of how they want to sing and how they want to express it. So, and then as the Venu Nadam is also going in progression in pitch, then the singing is also accompanying it. So it talks about how all of this kind of comes together and they're all dancing to the rhythm, to the music that is there. The dresses are swaying, the necklaces and the other ornaments they are wearing are also swaying according to the dance. So all the gods, the demigods who actually assembled on the top, they all witness how all of this is kind of all getting orchestrated properly, right? By Krishna, who's there, who's with each of the Gopikas, and they all fully immersing themselves in the Rasa Krida. So Shraddhaya Virachitanu Gana Krita Tara Tara Madhura Sware, comma Nartaneta Lalitanga Hara Lulitanga Hara Mani Bhushane Sammadena Krita Pushpa Varsham. So break at that ma there. Pushpa Varsham. Next word will start with that up. Alam Unmishaddi Vishadam. So that is the one place where we're not going to break it. You have to say the rest of the word together. So Krita Pushpa Varsham Alam Unmishaddi Vishadam Kulam, comma Chinmaye Twai Niliyamanamiva Sammumoha Sa Vadhukulam. So even the demigods and gods who were there were completely in a state of trance by looking at it and feeling it and experiencing it there. Shraddhaya virachitanu krita tara tara madhurasware nartane talalitangahara lulitangahara manibhushane Sammadhena krita pushpavarshamallam unmishaddi vishadam kulam chinmaye tvayi niliyamanamiva sammumoha savadhukulam.
Shraddhaya virasitanughana Kritara tara madhurasvare Nartane talalitangahara lulitangahara manibhushane Sammadena krita pushpavarsham alamun mishatti vishavtam kulam chinmaye tvayi nilya manamiva sammohas savatukulam vatukulam.
Savadhukulam. Yeah, and the word is fourth line le short ni niliyamanamiva.
Niliyamanamiva. Okay.
Yeah.
Shraddhaya virasitanughana krita tara tara madhu rashvare nartane talalitangahara lulitangahara manibhushane sammadena krita pushpavaryam malamunmishat vishitam kulam chinmaye tvayi niliyamanamiva sammoho savadukulam
Sa vadhukulam.
Vadhukulam. Vadhukulam.
श्रद्धया विरचितानुगानकृततारतारमधुरस्वरे नर्तनीतललिताङ्गहारुललिताङ्गहारमणिभूषणे सम्मदेन कृतपुष्पवर्षम् अलमुन्मिषद्धिविशदां कुलम् चिन्मये त्वयि निलीयमानमिव सम्मुमोह सवधूकुलम् श्रद्धया विरचितानुगानकृततारतारमधुरस्वरे नर्तनीधललिताङ्गहारललिताङ्गहारमणिभूषणे सम्मदेन कृतपुष्पवर्षम् अलमुन्मिषद्धिविशदां कुलम् चिन्मये त्वयि निलीयमानमिव सम्मुमोह सवधूकुलम्
I'm going to skip meaning of the next few stanzas. I'll just say relevant ones. Stanza 6. Swinna sanna tanu vallari, long e, tadanu kapi nama pashupangana, comma, kantam amsam avalambate. If you want to break it, that ma, kantam amsam avalambate sma tava tanti bhara mukulekshana काचिदाचलित कुन्तला नव पटीर सार घन सौरभम, वंचनेन तव संचुचुंब भुजम, breaking at that ma, भुजम अंचितोरु पुलकांकुरा स्विन्नसन्नतनु वल्लरी तदनु कापि नाम पशुपाङ्गना कान्तमंसमवलम्बते स्म तव तान्ति भारमुकुलेक्षणा काचिदाचलितकुन्तला नवपटीरसारघनसौरभम् वञ्चनेन तव सञ्चुचुम्बभुजमञ्चितोरुपुलकाङ्कुरा.
ராஜேஷ் அந்த காந்தம் அத மாத்திரம் சொல்லுங்களேன் மறுபடியும் இன்னொரு தடவை அந்த செகண்ட் லைன்
காந்தம் அம்சம் அம்சம்
அம்சம்
அவலம்பதே.
ஓகே. स्विन्नसन्नतनु वल्लरी तदनु कापि नाव पशुपाङ्गना कान्तम् अंसम् अवलम्बते स्म तव तान्ति पारमुकुलेक्षणा कासिदासलितकुन्तला नवपटी रसारगन् पटीरसारगणसौरभम् वञ्जनेन तव सञ्जुसुम्बभुजम् अञ्जितोरुपुलकाङ्कुरा स्विन्नसन्नतनु वल्लरी तदनु कापि नाम पशुपाङ्गना कान्तम् अंसम् अवलम्बते स्म तव तान्ति भारमुकुलेक्षणा कासिदासलितकुन्तला नवपटीर सारगणसौरभम् वञ्चनेन तव सञ्जुसुम्बभुजम् अञ्जितोरुपुलकाङ्कुरा
स्विन्नसन्नतनु वल्लरी तदनु कापि नाम पशुपाङ्गना कान्तमंसमवलम्बते स्म तव तान्ति भारमुकुलेक्षणा काचिदाचलितकुन्तला नवपटीरसारघनसौरभम् वञ्चनेन तव सञ्चुचुम्बभुजम् अञ्चितोरुपुलकाङ्कुरा स्विन्नसन्नतनुवल्लरी तदनु कापि नाम पशुपाङ्गना कान्तमंसमवलम्बते स्म तव तान्तिभारमुकुलेक्षणा काचिदाचलितकुन्तला नवपटीरसारघनसौरभं वञ्चनेन तव सञ्चुचुम्बभुजमञ्चितोरुपुलकाङ्कुरा.
Just switch halfway. Usha, you can be student, and Mrinalini, you can be student. Tapi Gandabhuvi Sannidhaya Nija Gandamakulita Kundalam, comma, Punya Pura Nidhiranvavapa Tava Puga Charvita Rasamritam Indira Vihriti Mandiram Bhuvana Sundaram Hi Natanantare, comma, Tvamavapya Dhaduranganaha, put a H to join, Dhaduranganah Kimu na Sammadon Mada Dashantaram. So they all attained a state of ecstasy, or a state of extreme happiness and bliss, right? Dancing in this. And like we said before several times, each one is relating in a different way. So each one experiences bliss with the different ways. But at the end of the day, they all are just, there's no, unrestrained dance, right? So sometimes when you play music and then you're just dancing however you want. So, each one might be dancing in a different way. So similarly, they are all just completely free. So they're all just experiencing that bliss and, dancing in their own way and connecting with Krishna here. Kapi ganda bhuvi sannidhaya nija ganda makulita kundalam punya pura nidhiranvavapatava puga charvita rasamritam Indira Vihriti Mandiram Bhuvana Sundaram Hinatanantare Tvamavapya Dhadurangana Kimuna Sammadon Madadashantaram.
कापि गण्डभुवि सन्निधाय निजगण्डमाकुलितकुण्डलम् पुण्यपूरनिधिरन्ववाप तव पूगचर्वितरसामृतम् इन्दिराविहृतिमन्दिरम् भुवनसुन्दरम् हि नटनान्तरे त्वामवाप्य दधुराङ्गनाः किमुन सम्मदोन्मददशान्तरम् कापि गण्डभुवि सन्निधाय निजगण्डमाकुलितकुण्डलम् पुण्यपूरनिधिरन्ववाप तव पूगचर्वितरसामृतम् इन्दिराविहृतिमन्दिरम् भुवनसुन्दरम् हि नटनान्तरे त्वामवाप्य दधुराङ्गनाः किमुन सम्मदोन्मददशान्तरम्
कापि गण्डभुवि सन्निधाय निजगण्डमाकुलितकुण्डलम् पुण्यपूरनिधिरन्ववाप तव पूगचर्वितरसामृतम् इन्दिराविहृतिमन्दिरम् भुवनसुन्दरम् हि नटनान्तरे त्वामवाप्य दधुरङ्गना हि किमुन सम्मदोन्मददशान्तरम् कापि गण्डभुवि सन्निधाय निजगण्डमाकुलितकुण्डलम् पुण्यपूरनिधिरन्ववाप तव पूगचर्वितरसामृतम् इन्दिराविहृतिमन्दिरम् भुवनसुन्दरम् हि नटनान्तरे त्वामवाप्य दधुरङ्गनाः किमुन सम्मुदोन्नदशान्तरम्.
That last line, Daduranganaha, that visarga is there, right? That will take a H sound. Daduranganah. Okay.
Okay, I'll do just the last one. Tvamavapya dadhuranganaha kimuna.
No, you are saying Angana. You're saying Daduranganaha. You are saying Daduranganah.
ददुरङ्गना किमुन सम्मदोन्मदशान्तरम्.
Mada Dashantaram.
Madadashantaram. Thank you.
Yeah, essentially that when ka is coming later, ka or ka, either of those are coming later, there's a visarga in front, you literally replace it with a H. So it ends with a H. So Dadurangana Kimuna Sammadon Mada Dashantaram. Ganamisha Viratam Kramena Kila Badhya Melanam Uparatam, comma, Brahma Sammada Rasakulaha, put the is to join, Rasakulas Sadasi Kevalam Nandrituranganaha, Nandrituranganaha Navidannapi cha Nivikam Kimapi Kuntalimapi cha Kanchulim, comma, Jyotishamapi Kadambakam Divi Vilambitam Kimaparam Bruve. Kind of coming to the tail end of the dance. So, as at one earlier on, they all were like, what do you call? Like when we spoke about the meditation, there are two states of meditation. This is dharana and dhyana. Dharana meditation is when you focus, when you try to focus on something very explicitly. And dhyana is you're not trying to focus, but it is just happening, right? So there's two kind of states, right? So similarly in the dance, in the first part of it, they were all explicitly trying to dance, right? Trying to sing, trying to play the music and trying to sway. So that continued, but now they are in a state where they are not trying to do anything explicitly, just implicitly, they are just in a state of bliss. So in that case, the music has stopped right now, the Gana Misha, the singing has stopped, the music has stopped, and it says the stars in the Jyotishamapi, even the stars, everything is still. So they are now in that state of stillness, but they are still moving, right? So in that state of stillness, when they are moving, so Brahma Sammada Rasakula, they experience the state of supreme bliss at that point where they're not explicitly doing anything, but their mind is just in stillness with Bhagavan right now, and they're fully connected at this point, and they finally reach that state. Ganamishabiratam kramena kila badhyamelanamuparatam Brahma sammadarasakula sadasi kevalam nanruturanganaha navidannapi cha nivikam kimapi kuntalimapi cha kanchulim jyotishamapi kadambakam divi vilambitam kimaparam bhruve.
गानमीशविरतं क्रमेण किल वाद्यमेलनमुपारतं ब्रह्मसम्मदरसाकुला सदसि केवलं ननुतुरङ्गनाः नाविदन्नपि च नीरिकां किमपि कुन्तलीमपि च कञ्चुलीं ज्योतिषामपि कदम्बकं दिवि विलम्बितं किमपरं ब्रुवे गानमीशविरतं क्रमेण किल वाद्यमेलनमुपारतं ब्रह्मसम्मदरसाकुला सदसि केवलं न नृतुरङ्गनाः नाविदन्नपि च नीविकां किमपि कुन्तलीमपि च कञ्चुलीं ज्योतिषामपि कदम्बकं दिवि विलम्बितं किमपरं ब्रुवे
गानमीशविरतं क्रमेण किल वाद्यमेलनमुपात्तरं ब्रह्मसम्मतरसाकुला सदसि केवलं नृतुरङ्गनाः नाविदन्नपि च नीविकां किमपि कुन्तलीमपि च कञ्चुलीं ज्योतिषामपि कदम्बकं दिवि विलम्बितं किमपरं ब्रुवे.
The first line, last word.
गानमीश
So the first line, last word, Melanam Uparatam. Vadhya Melanam Uparatam.
You want me to break or can I just tell
I
it
think you were just
straight?
switching the ra and tha.
Okay, Vatimena.
Upataram, you said.
Okay.
Uparata.
Oh, sorry.
But you
Okay.
can say it together also, yeah.
Okay. गानमीश विरतं क्रमेण किल वाद्यमेलनमुपारतं ब्रह्मसम्मदरसाकुला सदसि केवलं न नृतुरङ्गनाः नाविदन्नपि च नीविकां किमपि कुन्तलीमपि च कञ्चुलीं ज्योतिषामपि कदम्बकं दिवि विलम्बितं किमपरं ब्रुवे
मोदसीम्नि भुवनं विलाप्य विहृतिं समाप्य च ततो विभो, केलि संमृदित निर्मलांग नव घर्म लेश सुभगात्मनां मन्मता सहन चेतसां पशुप योषितां सुकृत चोदितः. Add a visarga comma, choditah. Next line is goes away. Tavada kalita murtira dadhita maravira paramotsavan. मोदसीम्नि भुवनं विलाप्य विकृतिं समाप्य च ततो विभो केलिसंहृदित निर्मलाङ्गनवघर्मलेश सुभगात्मनां मन्मता सहन चेतसां पशुपयोषितां सुकृतचोदितः तावदा कलितमूर्तिराधदितमारवीरपरमोत्सवान्.
मोदसीम्नि भुवनं विलाप्य विहृतिं समाप्य च ततो विभो केलिसंवृदित निर्मलाङ्गनवघर्मलेश सुभगात्मनां मन्मथा सहन चेतसां पशुपयोषितां सुकृतचोदितः तावदा कलितमूर्तिरादधित मारवीर परमोत्सवान्. मोदसीम्नि भुवनं विलाप्य विहृतिं समाप्य च ततो विभो केलिसंवृदित निर्मलाङ्गनवघर्मलेश सुभगात्मनां मन्मथा सहन चेतसां पशुपयोषितां सुकृतचोदितः तावदा कलितमूर्तिराधधित मारवीर परमोत्सवान्.
मोदसीम्नि भुवनं विलाप्य विहृतिं समाप्य च ततो विभो केलिसमृदितनिर्मलाङ्गनवघर्मलेशसुभगात्मनां मन्मथा सहन चेतसां पशुपयोषितां सुकृतचोदितः तावदा कलितमूर्तिरादधित ददिथ मूरवीर परमोत्सवान्.
Last word, Maravira.
मारवीर. मोदसीम्नि भुवनं विलाप्य विहृतिं समाप्य च ततो विभो केलिसमृदित निर्मलाङ्गनवघर्मलेश सुभगतात्मनां मन्मथा सहन चेतसां पशुपयोषितां सुकृतचोदितः तावदा कलितमूर्तिराददिग्ध मारवीर परमोत्सवान्.
Second line, last word, Subhagatmanam.
शुभगात्मनाम्.
Keli Bheda Parilolitabhirati. One word, Parilolitabhirati Lalitabhirabalalibihi. So it's one long word. If any of you want to break it, that Lalitabhir, the R that is there, you can break it into a Ir and a A if you want to there. So it becomes Lalitabhir Abalalibihi if you're not able to say it together. Or you can say it continuous. So Keli Bheda Parilolitabhirati Lalitabhirabalalibihi, comma. Swairamisha nanu suraja payasi charu nama vihritim vyadhaha kananepi cha bisari shitala kishora maruta manohare, suna saura bhamaye vilesita vilasini shata vimohanam. Says with this, Krishna finally the dance comes to an end. So, like we said in the beginning itself, you then took different forms, Krishna, with each of these gopikas, and then you made sure that they all attained a state of bliss and a state of happiness with that. And with this Rasa Krida comes to an end on the banks of Yamuna, and then they all just settled down there. The breeze was still, it was cold breeze blowing and all that. And finally, this way, lot of Shata Vimohanam, just as Shata is just used loosely as to say a lot of people. It doesn't say how many. It says this way, a lot of these Gopikas came there who all experienced that bliss. Keli bheda parilolita bhirati lalita bhirabalali bihim swairamishana nusuraja payasi charunama bihritim vyadhaham काननेऽपि च विसारि शीतलकिशोरमारुतमनोहरे सूनसौरभमये विलेसितविलासिनि शतविमोहनम्.
केलिभेदपरिलोलिताभिरतिलोलिताभिरबलालिभिः वैरमीशननुसूरजापयसि चारुनाम विहृतिं व्यधाः काननेऽपि च विसारि शीतल किशोरमारुतमनोहरे सूनसौरभमये विलेसितविलासिनी शतविमोहनम्.
Usha, the first line, Lolita Bhirati, then next is La. Lalita Bhira Balalibihi.
केलिभेदपरिलोलिताभिरतिलालिताभिरबलालिभिः सूरजापयसि चारुनाम विहृतिं व्यधाः काननेऽपि च विसारि शीतलकिशोरमारुतमनोहरे पूर्णसौरभमये विलेसितविलासिनी शतविमोहनम्.
केलिभेदपरिलोलिताभिरतिलालिताभिरबलाभिः स्वैरमीशननुसूरजापयसि चारुनाम विहृतिं व्यथा काननेऽपि च विसारि शीतलकिशोरमारुतमनोहरे सूनसौरभमये विलेसितविलासिनी शतविमोहनम्.
Second line after the end, Vyadhaha is a visarga.
व्यदाः केलिभेदपरिलोलिताभिरतिलालिताभिरबलालिभिः स्वैरमीशननुसूरजापयसि चारुनाम विहृतिं व्यथाः काननेऽपि च विसारि शीतलकिशोरमारुत मनोहरे सूनसौरभमये विलेसितविलासिनी शतविमोहनम्.
That's 11. Kaminiriti ki yaminishu khalu kamaniya kanidhe bhavan, purna sammada rasarnavam kamapi yogi gamyam anubhavayan. Just breaking at that now. Gamyam anubhavayan. Brahma shankara mukhanapiha Pashupanganasu Bahumanayan, Bhakta Loka Gamaniya Rupa Kamaniya Krishna Paripahima. At the end it says this gopikas who are just like the repository, of all the positive karma you can do, of all the punyams you can do. So these gopikas end up reaching the state of bliss, right, and happiness there, which is not possible even for yogi gamyams, even for the greatest of yogis who are doing so much meditations, who are doing so much tapas and everything. Even they cannot reach that state of happiness and bliss, self-satisfaction, right, that the gopikas are able to reach. So because of which even Brahma, Shankara, Shiva, all of them have a very high appreciation of gopikas. And it's going to come more about this gopikas is going to come in Dashakam 76, where Uddhava comes to visit them. And he'll say that, that every single thing that you are doing, that is essentially the essence of this whole Rasa Krida and the Gopikas relationship. It's going to say that Uddhava is finally going to come and say there's nothing that you can do to please Bhagavan. Any amount of yajnas you do, any amount of sacrifices you do, any amount of charity you do, nothing can beat the pure devotion and love that the Gopikas have. That is like the highest form compared to everything else. That's what Uddhava is going to say. And then Uddhava is the direct disciple of Brihaspati, right? So he's going to say that. And here the same thing they're condensing and saying that even Brahma and Shankara are all saying that the level of devotion and bhakti and love that the Gopikas have is unsurpassable, right? So that is the highest form that is actually there. So he says, oh Krishna, you was very easily accessible to anybody who is devoted, right? Please paripahima, please eradicate all my ailments as well. And like we kind of discussed, a little bit in the previous thing, right? Like to when the gopikas, when the pride increased, when I was telling about it, like we said, one way you can relate to it is each of these gopikas represents individual souls, right? In the sense that each of us, at the end of the day, we are all connected to the same Bhagavan. We all are united, but we all feel unique. But we are actually not unique, right? But we feel that level of uniqueness. So that's how in each Gopika is dancing with Krishna is in a unique way and relating to Krishna in a unique way, and he's reciprocating to some extent. That is telling that the Brahman, which we described in Dasakam 1, stanza 1, he says there's only one. But you can relate to that Bhagavan in any way you form, any way you want, any form you want, any shape you want. And that reciprocation is going to happen the same way, right? So if you are like going to be like Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha and Kamsa, and you're going to hate it, which is also fine. You can be in a complete hatred, but at least continue to hate that Bhagavan consistently, right? Then that reciprocation is going to be that way. Or if you're going to be like the Gopikas, pure bhakti, that's fine. Or you're going to be like Uddhava, who's going to be like an absolute friend of Krishna, then the reciprocation is going to be that way. At the end of the day, you have to just connect in some way. So that's what it's telling this. Each of the souls at the end of the day are going to connect the divine in different ways, and that's absolutely fine as long as they're connecting and they're in complete surrender. Like we saw in 67, you completely surrender and you're connecting, and then you merge with the divine, which is what is happening here. Because even when the Gopika Vastrapaharanam happened, right? At that time, they said that, oh, we want to marry you. So Krishna said, don't worry, I'll give you a state of bliss, a state of happiness. The reason for marriage is because they don't want to leave and go, right? They want to be together all the time. He says, I'll give you the state of bliss. You have forgotten that you are one with me already. You just lost it. You've forgotten that knowledge. I will give you what that knowledge is, or what that feeling is in Rasa Krida when you're one with Bhagavan and you don't feel separate, which is what is happening here. But then they're going to forget after this because it's all an experience that they have to go through, right? Anyway, so with that, this Rasa Krida comes to an end. Kamini ritihi yamini shukhalu kamani yakanidhe bhavan purna sammadara sarnavam kamapi yogi gamyam anubhavayan. Sorry, I lost my tune. Brahma Shankara Mukana Piha Pashupangana Subahumanayan Bhakta Loka Gamaniya Rupa Gamaniya Krishna Paripahimam Bhakta Loka Gamaniya Rupa Gamaniya Krishna Paripahimam Bhakta Loka Gamaniya Rupa Gamaniya Krishna Paripahimam. Just do the last line 3 times.
We have to say that 3 times?
I mean, you can say it 1 time today, but normally we say it 3 times. You can just mark and keep it.
Okay. Kamini ritihi yaminishu khalu kamaniya kanidhe bhavan purna sammadara sarnavam kamapi yogi gamya गम्यमनुभावयन् ब्रह्मशङ्करमुखानपीह पशुपाङ्गनासु बहुमानयन् भक्तलोकगमनीयरूपकमनीय कृष्ण परिपाहि माम् कामिनीरिति हि यामिनीषु खलु कामनीयकनिधे भवान् पूर्णसम्मदरसार्णवं कमपि योगि गम्यम् अनुभावयन् ब्रह्मशङ्करमुखान्नपीह पशुपाङ्गनासु बहुमानयन् भक्तलोकगमनीय रूपकमनीय कृष्ण परिपाहि माम्
कामिनीरिति हि यामिनीषु खलु कामनीयकनिधे भवान् पूर्णसम्मदरसार्णवं कमपि योगि गम्यमनुभावयन् ब्रह्मशङ्करमुखानपीह पशुपाङ्गनासु बहुमानयन् भक्तलोकगमनीय रूपकमनीय कृष्ण परिपाहि माम् कामिनीरिति हि यामिनीषु खलु कामनीयकनिधे भवान् पूर्णसम्मदरसार्णवं कमपि योगि गम्यमनुभावयन् ब्रह्मशङ्करमुखानपीह पशुपाङ्गनासु बहुमानयन् भक्तलोकगमनीय रूपकमनीय कृष्ण परिपाहि माम्
ராஜேஷ் ராஜேஷ் கமனீய ரூபம் கமனீய கிருஷ்ணா சொல்றால அது என்ன அது கமனீய கிருஷ்ணா
அது வந்து அங்க ரெண்டு வேர்டு வருது. செகண்ட். ஸோ ஒன் இஸ் கமனீய, ஒன் இஸ் கமனீய. ஸோ அது வந்து just different meanings. In the very end, when it says Kamaniya Krishna, Kamani is attractive. The Krishna who is attractive, please protect me.
சரி
I don't know what Gamaniya is, but it is associated with the word Rupam. So maybe it is Bhakta Loka Gamaniya, means the one who's maybe easy to accessible to the people who are bhaktas, who are devotees, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Kamaniya is a kama, adlindu vara word and the Kamaniya, so attractive.
Okay, Rajesh, thank you.
Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. सान्ध्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावदिभ्यां निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानां कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You, Rajesh. Better, Rajesh. Thank you.